Hello, and welcome to another. So, you'd like to get into video games? Today's genre is fighting games. Um, I do have a game on in the background, if you can hear audio, which I've tried to adjust the volume because it's being weird. It's the game that I'm mostly going to be showing, and for anyone who has actually watched other videos of these, may be a little confused why you're currently seeing a Steam interface. Basically, I adore fighting games. Fighting games are one of my favourite genres. I have tried doing videos like this before where I had severe tech issues. I try not to bring it up every single video, but the two videos that were the most difficult for me to do, and I've not been looking forward to redoing them, are RPGs and fighting games. And fighting games, in part, is because of just how many there are, and I don't know where the best place to truly start is, and there's also the fact that I don't know what's actually available on a Switch these days. Because for me, I get everything on the PC, fighting game wise, because all of my fight sticks will always work. I'll never need to buy a new one for every generation of console, like what kept happening. It just became cost effective for me to build one really good fight stick and use it on the PC going forward. So I don't fully know what the Switch has, but as you can probably see from my the whole thing that I'm scrolling down here, I have a lot of fighting games, a lot of them, a whole crap ton of them, to be honest, and I want to actually start this video with the recommendations because this is in front of me here, and once I turn this screen off so you can see Street Fighter and I have to organise that, then that's what you're going to be seeing. So, fighting games are really difficult to suggest where to start because there's so many that are so different. Street Fighter 6 is totally different to Dead or Alive 6. Street Fighter is all about super moves, power moves essentially, building into your combos. Dead or Alive is all about just straight martial artist fighting essentially and building combos that way. You have Marvel vs. Capcom, which is a tag fighter. So as much as it's got power moves like a Street Fighter game, it's also most of the strategy is around what team you build and what your assists are and what your tag partners are up to. There's Virtua Fighter, which is even more pure brutal martial artist fighting. There's Tekken as well, which is martial arts fighting where, if memory serves, you're literally controlling a different limb with each button. Mortal Kombat did that as well, where like you had to be fair, Mortal Kombat had low punch, high punch, low kick, high kick. I think Tekken's the one that has one button does your left leg, one button does your right leg. It's one of those weird things that I've never fully got Tekken. Tekken 8's the first one I've really got into, and I still don't fully get it. You then have Soul Calibur, which is a game where it's all about your weapons, more so than your actual everything else. Like, fighting games are stupendously complex, is the easiest way to see it, and I don't really know where the best overall place is to get into each genre. I would say steer with current for the most part, because if you're trying to get into fighting games, you're going to hopefully potentially want to play them competitively online, so a current one's going to have a better chance of doing that. But at the same time, there are definitely some truly exceptional games out there. Like, at the moment, technically it is current, but Capcom vs SNK 2, available as part of the Capcom Fighting Collection, is one of my all-time favourite fighters. Marvel vs Capcom 2, currently available as part of the Marvel vs Capcom Fighting Collection. King of Fighters 98, not a current game at all, but one of, like, specifically, I think it's called the World Dream or Dream Tour. Like, the problem is they did, like, so many different versions of King of Fighters 98, and I can't remember the official name of the best version, but that is an absolutely great game. Street Fighter 3, I do remember, Third Strike. There's 3 different versions, technically, of Street Fighter 3, and Third Strike's the one where you'd go to, like, there's so many games to actually recommend, but for now, I think, purely for the basis of this video, and excuse me for a second while I adjust that, there we go, now you should at least only be seeing Street Fighter, and I can actually get around to playing the game and talking about it. Street Fighter 6, I feel, is genuinely the best true starting point for a fighting game, because Street Fighter 6 did something that I wish all fighters did. Oh, and to be fair, I should mention Guilty Gear Strive. Guilty Gear Strive is gigantic at the moment. It is one of the biggest games usually around Evo. It's got one of the best tutorials in all the fighters. If you want to learn how to play Guilty Gear, you play that game. But I've heard people say if you want to learn how to play fighters, you play that game. I strongly disagree. I love Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear is so much of an anomaly, so unique to itself, that the tutorial of Guilty Gear Strive will teach you how to play Guilty Gear. Won't teach you how to play anything else. You'll get basic hints and tips, but it won't teach you how to play anything else, personally. Okay, I'm now just fumbling by pressing different buttons. It's because I had to use the mouse cursor on something else. So anyway, I'm going to just go into Street Fighter, though, and actually explain what I mean by it's a great place to start, because Street Fighter's done something that I wish other devs would do. They've simplified the actual gameplay. And by that, I mean you can use what is known as a modern control set. So Dynamic is battle with AI-assisted attacks. I've never used it because I don't want a computer guessing for me, but I guess you could use it and to try to learn things. You've got Classic, which is what all of us grew up on. This is the first time I'm going to have been playing Street Fighter 6 on a controller in a very, 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 very long time. I am a fight stick person. I am a levelless person. Levelless, for those who don't know, is... So I call things fight sticks and levelless. A fight stick is, if you've ever seen an arcade cabinet, it's got a stick on it and it's got usually 8 buttons. That's a fight stick. A levelless is the same buttons but with no stick. Instead, you get more buttons and the buttons are up, down, left and right. There's no diagonal. You have to make your diagonal by doing down right is a down diagonal right. So you have to use that movement. Levellesses are, button input wise, the best, lowest latency things around, and competitive players use them like mad for a reason. But I personally think they work better on games like Dead or Alive and Soul Calibur as they do Street Fighter. But then you've got modern. So I know I'm kind of jumping here, but I wanted to show the classic control thing of I've never really used a controller for a while, but this is what a lot of us grew up on, where you have a light punch, a button, a light kick, medium punch, heavy kick, which, yeah, you can tell I'm not using a thing, because never would I make right bumper and right trigger heavy. That's going to be awkward to play, but it doesn't really matter, to be fair, because I'm going to be using modern. And I wanted to put this on specifically for modern, because modern... You get heavy attack, special move, assist, light attack, medium attack, throw, drive, parry, drive impact, and you get loads of different assists. And it's a balanced way of playing the game. I am just going to load this on easiest for the sake of it. It's a balanced way of playing the game because it means that you don't have to remember a bunch of convoluted attacks. Now, I know these because I've played them for a long time. So quarter circles, half circles. To be honest, I actually grew up calling that a fireball and a yoga flame. You've got a kind of quarter circle, like a forward quarter circle type thing, which is how you do a move called a Dragon Punch. With this moveset, I just basically press one button, and I can't remember which button it is that I actually set for it. Oh, there we go, B. So I just press B. That's all I do. Forward and B does that. That entire thing normally would be forward, down, diagonal down, right, because of the direction I'm facing, and then my attack button. Instead, I just held forward and pressed B. Now, I understand a lot of people might be sitting there thinking that makes a mockery of sorts of games and that. I do get this sentiment. I do get that mindset. I do understand why purists out there dislike this. But fighting games, I'm going to see a story. I wish I could remember the name of the actual 2 players, but basically they got 2 chess grandmasters and invited them to EVO. And they actually said, we want to see what your thoughts are on fighting games. Because fighting games, as much as everyone seems to think that it's a skill-based thing, and it is, there is some skill there. You have to learn the combos, you have to learn the moveset, you have to be able to pull off these moves. Fighting games are more about strategy than they are skill. And this control set definitely makes fighting games more about strategy than they are skill. Because when anyone can pull off the moves without needing to worry about it, which is great for an accessibility feature, for someone like myself who has arthritis, this is another reason why I struggle to play fighting games on a controller and why I prefer it with a fight stick, because I get a much bigger stick to be able to grip and the buttons are much bigger and spread out, so it doesn't hurt my arthritis as much as playing a fighting game competitively on an actual controller. By allowing that, it basically does turn it into a pure strategy game. Everyone can do the same moves at the blink of an eye. Now, the way they try to balance it is, as much as it's a strategy game, if I actually perform the move properly, so if I actually do the move set, like that I just did there, I know obviously you won't see anything different on screen, but I did actually do the input for the knee. By doing that, you actually get more damage from the move, so it is a way to buff it essentially, so it's a way to still reward skill, but at the same time, it doesn't punish anyone else. Like, you could easily win a fight without learning the inputs. If your strategy's good enough, it means that you now have a divide essentially with games like this, where some people are better at skill, some people are better at strategy, and there's some people who are amazing at the skill and amazing at the strategy, and not surprisingly, they're going to win EVO all the time. So yeah, and it's why though Street Fighter 6 I feel truly is the perfect beginner's one, and I especially wanted to go for this because all of my videos, as I said at the start, you might be wondering with the Steam, because I keep saying these videos are made from a mindset of you have a Switch 2. That's the gear, the console that I ultimately have recommended. I've explained why I recommend it in that video, and if the TLDR is basically it's new, it's current tech, it's actually pretty powerful for what it is, it's not overly priced for what it is, and at the moment it currently hasn't raised in price, so the time to get it is kind of now, because it's definitely going up in price, because everything's going up in price. So Street Fighter 6 is available on the Switch 2, and it runs amazingly well, which doesn't surprise me, because Capcom have been kind of making some of the most exceptional ports of their games on the Switch. The Resident Evil games run, like, Requiem is a dream. I cannot believe how good Requiem looks and runs, even in handheld mode, which is exclusively how I play it. I've got a really good PC that I played Requiem on, and loved it every minute of it, but I'm playing it more on the Switch 2 because of that. And that's weird, my game just... I'm assuming that's an OBS thing that froze, but either way, I got the win. Again, I'm on easy and I'm just button mashing, which is something I do need to bring up. Fighting games, while you're learning them, you're going to button mash. And a lot of people hate this, a lot of people complain and say, oh, button mashing's no skill. Button mashing is actually... how to put it? If I was an artist and I was painting on a canvas and I was having a creative block and I just decided to throw anything and see what sticks, that's what button mashing is to fighting games. I have learned so many combos actually button mashing in games. I truly have, because sometimes if I'm playing a character and I don't know anything about them, I'll just go in and I'll just jump and attack and push and see what happens. And suddenly I'll be like, hang on a second, that was really cool. That did a really good amount of damage. That worked really well. It was a good way to counter. Can I repeat it without button mashing? So it was like, okay, so if I hit jump X, Y, then jump X, Y. Oh, there we go. I'm repeating the same action. So I'm no longer button mashing. I'm learning as I go. Button mashing gets a bad rap, but it truly is really useful for learning fighting games. Tutorial modes, things like that, practices, all of that is good, but playing arcade and slowly upping the difficulty is definitely a good way to go about it. However, with old fighting games especially, they are notorious for cheating. The AI in old fighting games, especially things like Rugal, God Rugal I think it might be, specifically in Capcom vs SNK 2, and Shinakuma, which I understand I'm mentioning names that you won't recognise. I could at least show Akuma here, to be fair, so I'll pick Akuma, because Rugal's the SNK side, Akuma's the Capcom side. Shinakuma is one of the cheapest cheating bastards AI you will ever play. There are so many games. SNK versus Capcom Chaos, or whatever it was called, which was the SNK Capcom mix-up as opposed to the Capcom SNK mix-up. Yes, they are different things, very different things. I wish I could remember the name of the character, but there's a character in that is infamous for a boss fight where it read every single one of your inputs so well that even using, like, a lot of these emulators have features now where you can, like, save scum or you can rewind play. Even using those, they're almost impossible to beat because they cheat so much. It's just unbelievable how much they cheat. So when you come up against an old fighting game where that's an issue, they're not the best to learn with, because that's a good way to learn how to beat a CPU, but it's not a good way to learn how to beat other character, another person. So fighting games has definitely one of the sharpest difficulty curves with getting into the genre, and you're going to get your ass beat. You truly are going to get your ass beat. You need to get into the mindset of, I know I'm not going to win, but eventually I might. If you truly want to get into a fighting game, I don't really play these online anymore. I used to. The last one I really got into, and this is how old this is, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting on the Xbox Live Arcade. I was a god at that game because I'd played so much Street Fighter 2 growing up, and it turns out not a lot of people did. So I would go online and I would absolutely wreck shop with them. I had a really good gameplay strategy with Vega, with Blanca, with E Honda, with Chun-Li, and with Ryu, and I can't remember if Akuma was in that version, but Akuma is actually my main overall, but I don't think Akuma was in that version. And I know I'm dotting about all over the place here. Part of it's an ADHD day. The other part of it is the fact that there's so much to cover. Fighting games are all about counters. Everything is about a counter, and it's not so much in this game, but in Street Fighter 2 specifically. One of the problems that I had with playing games online, and it's what actually killed my drive for playing fighters online, E-Honda is the cheap, easy way to get a win on Street Fighter 2. You literally button mash, and it is button mashing because his 100-hand slap, you have to, let's say it's the X button, you have to hit the X button as fast as you possibly can. And you see what he's doing here with the tires. He would do that only, 100 times faster because it's a 100-hand slap. It's got so much range, so much distance, and you can fireball people. Fireball like Shoryuken, or I think Shoryuken's the Dragon Punch. Fireball is Hadouken, sorry. You can Hadouken people with Fireball, with Ryu and that, but if anyone who actually knows how to play as E-Honda gets you into a corner, you're completely fucked. The way to counter E-Honda was Chun-Li, because Chun-Li's kicks were the exact same, but had a bigger reach. The difference is, E-Honda could move, Chun-Li could not. So what would happen when I play Street Fighter Hyper Fighting, anyone would highlight E-Honda, and I'm like, okay, so you're a scrub who doesn't know how to play the game, fair enough. I would choose Chun-Li. They'd pick E-Honda, immediately try to back out and pick Ken, so then I'd have to back out, and that's all it was. I actually wish, when you play games like this, they didn't tell you what your opponent was until after they'd picked, because it became a pathetic pissing contest of, I'll pick E-Honda, I'll pick Chun-Li, I'll pick E-Honda, I'll pick Chun-Li, I'll pick Gen, I know Gen wasn't in the game, but I'll pick Ryu, I'll pick Chun-Li. Okay, so you've picked Ryu, so now I'm choosing a Blanca. Oh, you've said I've picked Blanca, you've gone back to E-Honda, so I'll go back to Chun-Li. That was all that game was for the longest time, and eventually it would time out, and someone would get the matchup that they'd actually want, and if I got the matchup I wanted, I would absolutely destroy you. If I didn't get the matchup I wanted, I'd still probably win. I actually played so much Street Fighter, I was able to counter the cheap people who only used E-Honda because he was an instant win, essentially. There's so much about fighting games that you have to learn with counters, with which character counters which character. There's a lot of terminology that I don't even understand and know. I've played these games for decades, but I grew up learning these games myself. I didn't have a large circle of people who played fighters, so all of a sudden, I'm watching YouTubers like Maximilian Dude, who I absolutely love, and strongly recommend his channel. If you ever want to actually get really good at fighting games, watch his fucking channel. And I'm seeing him like, okay, so there's zoners, there's grapplers, there's jugglers, and it's like, some of those instantly make sense. A juggler is someone who keeps your enemy in the air. You knock them up and you keep them in the air. If they're in the air, they can't attack you. A grappler is someone who you want to get up close with and do grapples with. A zoner is someone who basically has zones. This is something I'm kinda unsure about, where I believe you basically want to steer back and use your Hadoukens, your moves to stop people getting close to you. That's basically your zone and you protect it. There's so many different terminologies with fighting games that I actually wish I understood, because this is why this is one of the hardest games to make so you want to get into fighters with. Unfortunately, all I can pretty much boil it down to is pick the one that looks the best for you, be it one where you have to learn combos like Tekken or Dead or Alive, be it one where you have to learn how your weapons work, like Soul Calibur. Hopefully we get a new Soul Calibur eventually. I didn't really like a lot of them. I loved them all the way up to Soul Calibur 2, so Soul Edge, Soul Calibur 1, Soul Calibur 2. Hated 3 and 4. Never actually tried 5, I don't think. Kind of like the PSP one, and I then weirdly loved Soul Calibur 6, but it's the one that seems to have killed the franchise, because people just don't care about it anymore, and it's a shame. And I know 3's one of them that people really loved, but I really didn't, because that's when fighting games also started to get the creator fighter, and I don't like that. There's already enough variables in fighting games. I don't need to worry about someone's created fighter as well, or creating my own fighter. Just let me pick a character and get good with them. And that is where ultimately where I'm leading all of this, and I know I've jumped from left, right, in here, back, all over the place. So I'm going to try to string it together as one sentence. Whichever fighting game you pick your fighter. How you pick your fighter is important. If you pick the person who you think looks cool, you're probably going to have a really bad time. Just because a character looks really cool doesn't mean you'll enjoy playing as them. Play through the roster. The arcade mode is great for this. Beat all of the arcade modes. You'll know immediately after a couple fights who you're vibing with, who you're thinking, yep, I like their playstyle of. Pick a couple of them that you were really enjoying and play as them over and over and over again. Up the difficulty, just keep playing until you get to the point where you feel like you're confident that you can play against another human, and then go online and play another human. You're gonna get curb stomped, okay? If you win your first game, great. Count it up to beginner's luck, count it up to maybe you're that good, maybe you're a prodigy, maybe you can go through and just absolutely dominate people. But go into it with the mindset of, I'm gonna get my ass kicked, because you probably are. That is how these works. Everything that you've learned against the computer, against arcade mode, is the bare minimum basics of, I kinda know how my character works. You won't really know how all of their characters works, and you especially won't know if they are at the level of, I've put 100,000 hours into playing this character. Which, sometimes, as much as that's hyperbole, Ryu is Ryu. Ryu has been Ryu since Street Fighter 2, really. Like, Ryu's moveset hasn't drastically changed. It's why every single time a Street Fighter comes out, if nothing else, I know I can win some fights with Ryu because I know how to play as Ryu. There are people out there who will have been playing these characters their entire life, so you're going to get curb stomped. But just keep trying. It's not all about the winning. Truly, with games, it's about the fun. And yes, losing all the time isn't fun, but the whole point is, by putting the time in, by putting the practice in, by learning the combos, by learning the counters, by... Maybe it might even be a case of the character you've picked, let's say Ed, maybe Ed matches up really badly against Blanka, and maybe you start to learn, every time I face against a Blanka, I'm doing significantly worse with Ed than I am with any other character. So this is why I said, pick a couple of characters. Maybe it's a case of, okay, I'm going up against a Blanka, I'll play as a Sagat. Let's see if I can do well with Sagat. Fighting games are definitely complex, they're definitely overwhelming, but you don't need to learn everything all at once. Start with the fundamentals, start with the basics. Pick a character, get good with that character, move on to another character, get good with that character. You don't need to get good with the entire roster, just have a couple of people that you can pick and choose and get good with. And if you want to get to the point where you're a god with one of the characters, where you might actually get to the point where it's like, listen, this is my best character, but I seriously cannot beat Blanka with Ed. I don't know why, I'm really struggling. You'll be able to find a way. Like, this is the one thing about what I'm saying with skill and strategy. Skill and strategy are so important in these games. You need to learn how to get up against your bad matchups. You truly do. Because you'll never get an ideal scenario, especially when you go up against Evo. You'll know which characters people have, so if you ever wanted to get into an actual tournament, you'll know, you'll be able to recon your opposition, that's the word I was blanking on. You'll be able to recon your opposition, and you'll be able to figure out, okay, so they're a Zangief main, but they're also really good with Chun-Li and they're really good with Juri, so you need to figure out what your characters are, what your moveset is, what your skills are, what your weaknesses are, and you need to overcome them. You can overcome them. More than any other game genre, if you have a weakness in a fighting game, it can be exploited. If you do not patch that, if you do not figure out how to stop that being your weakness, you'll get decimated. But this is the good thing about fighters. You truly can boil down to the minutiae. You can get there and go, okay, why is it I'm always getting fucked when I do this one single thing? You can look at your weaknesses and you can actually figure them the fuck out and build upon them to get to the point where you just don't have a weakness. Now, that doesn't mean you'll be unbeatable, because again, everyone else is going to have the same level of mastery you're striving towards. So then it becomes this is when you get like really good fights at Evo. Evo's the only esport I actually watch. It's because as much as I like playing a lot of other games and watching a lot of other games, Evo's the one that I can watch, and even with my basic ass bare level of understanding of fighting games, I can know what's going on and I can really appreciate it. I'm going to say a moment that's kind of infamous, and I'm going to shit talk someone, and I don't want it to come off as a bad way. I love Daigo. I cannot state this enough. I love Daigo. I love Justin Wong. They are infamous in the genre because of Evo Moment 37. There's videos up about it. Go watch it after you've done this if you're curious, if you're only just getting into fighting games. As much as I have a series kind of shitting on IGN have a like 10-minute video explaining fully what that moment is, and there's also the raw footage of someone who recorded it when it happened. Evo Moment 37. It's infamous for a reason. The reason I'm going to shit talk Daigo is Daigo made parrying so popular that I'm pretty sure that's why parrying's in like every game, and I hate parrying as a mechanic. I hate it in every game. I'm no good at it in most games because my ADHD brain doesn't want me to wait to attack. It wants me to like just constantly go, and it's why I'm not amazing at modern day fighters, and I will get my ass beat. But in older games, you could kind of get away with relentless brutal offense. you now need to have a defense to your game, and I just don't defend. I don't block. I don't do anything with that in fighting games. I play these to relax. I play them all the time against computers, like against the arcade mode, when I've had a stress-filled day and I need to vent frustration. That I play them incredibly casually. I truly do. I will fully admit that. So part of it is the fact that I just hate parrying in most games, and I hate that parrying became such an important mechanic to the point of that I love Elden Ring, but I can't play Sekiro because Sekiro's all about parrying, so fuck you, Daigo, for making parrying popular. But at the same time, I respect you so much, I love you as a person, you're an amazing fucking fighter. As far as I'm aware, he's not problematic. I don't look too much into people like this these days because it almost always leads to disappointment. So if he turns out to be a right-wing drifter or something, I don't think he is. I think I would have heard by now because, again, the moment is famous for a reason. Go watch it. I'm going to explain it now, though, but go watch it when I'm done. The Daigo parry is one of the most famous moments, Evo Moment 37, for a reason. When you parry in Street Fighter 3, you take no damage. Justin Wong was playing as Chun-Li. Daigo was playing as Ken. Justin Wong pulled off a super move that was basically Chun-Li's like ultimate, doing a dozen kicks. Specifically, if memory serves, 27 kicks. People had actually been practicing backstage how to parry that move. It was considered the impossible to parry maneuver. It truly was. No one at all ever expected to parry all 27 kicks perfectly. Daigo was in the fight for his life, and as Ken had a sliver, an absolute sliver of health, to the point of literally one blocked move, because when you block, it doesn't remove all damage. Again, parrying is the only way to remove all damage. Justin Wong was like, I'm just going to finish him, set up for the super kick, did the super kick, and Daigo parried all 27 moves. It was the first time in known history, let alone recorded history, because it was caught on camera, that anyone has ever done it. The crowd absolutely erupted. In the brief moment that the 27th kick failed to land, Daigo then performed his super as Ken, which was a Super Dragon Punch, if memory serves. I've watched this so many times I should know it beat for beat. And he beat Justin Wong and advanced to the next round, because this wasn't even a final. This was like a preliminary, if memory serves. It is one of the biggest, best moments in all of esports. It is one of the biggest, best moments in all the fighting games. It helped, again, put fighting games on the map. Capcom did it with Street Fighter 2. Evo Moment 37 did it with Street Fighter 3, Third Strike. To be fair, I imagine they were playing Third Strike, because Third Strike was the best version. It might have just been like a base version of Street Fighter 3 at that point. But it is a moment of pure mastery, of someone truly knowing how to play the game, someone truly getting frame input perfection, something that was thought to only be manageable via a computer with frame input perfection, and it broke everything. It really did have the best catalyst moment of exploding fighting games to the mass market, and it's what made Evo, and again, it's what I truly do blame Daigo for, like, making parrying so cool and popular in that moment that every game started to do it. Just talking about it, I still remember just how amazing that was, and I know this is a weird video of trying to get people into fighting games, but I want you to understand that is the, like, top level, the highest level of high-level play. Justin Wong is one of the top ranked fighters in all of fighting games, and even he loses sometimes. That is a moment that he probably... I don't want to speak for him. I imagine at the time it was one of those, holy shit, I hate everything about this. But now, the dude's like a god. The dude's amazing at everything. He just bullies people on Marvel vs. Capcom 2 when it came out. He absolutely bullies people. I'm pretty sure he's confident in his gaming ability for that to just be a moment. And from, I imagine, recognise the gravitas of the moment and how good it was for the genre that he loves so much. That, yeah, he got the L. It sucks to get the L, but overall, he's a winner, and look at everything that happened, and Daigo is also a winner, and the two of them, I think, rematched later on, years later, and I think he tried it again, but I think this time Justin Wong got the better of him. It's like, it's just one of those things. Fighting games, doesn't matter how good you get, there's always a way to lose, And that's why fighting games are so pure and so amazing, and it's why people absolutely love them. And I wish that I had the ability to play them at that level, and I probably do. If I actually put all of my time into them, I would do, because it's like everything else. The more time you put into it, the better you get. And the skill ceiling of fighting games is through the roof. You have to dedicate your life to them if you want them to. But you can play them casually like me and still have so much fun. And just getting into them casually can be difficult, and it's why, hopefully, this video has been helpful and informative. I've tried my best to cover all of my grounds with so many different games. I know I've only showed Street Fighter, it's because I didn't want to constantly be in the middle of exiting Fighter. Oh, and funnily enough, as much as I complain about parrying, and know that I'm going to fuck it up because I can't remember the parry button in this, especially on the controller, this is one of the only times I'm actually decent at parrying. So on Street Fighter 3, you had to push forward. What is it on controller? What did I set it to on controller? Is it... Nope, it's not that. This is one of the only things... Oh, I think it might be that. Hopefully I can do it. Yeah, this is one of the only things I've ever been able to parry. I can usually do all of these fucking basketballs, like, easily, for whatever reason. But anything else, I'm terrible at it. I missed the first 5, remembered what button it was on the controller. For some reason, it's left trigger. Did all of them. Like, as much as I hate parrying, for some weird reason, on that one bonus game, I'm actually good at it. So it's proof that I could actually get to that point where I could do it with others. Maybe it's just easier for me to learn parrying via the basketballs, but I can't parry in-game. I've yet to complete a successful parry in this entire game. Now, part of that is I just don't touch the button, ever, at any point, because I have got an offensive first mindset, so I'm always attack, never defense. But on that basketball thing, I can usually get all 15. It's just one of those weird things. So, yeah, waffling aside, I hope it's been helpful. I have tried to cover all of the bases of different fighters. You don't have to get into 6, but I truly do feel 6 is a great place to start. It's current, loads of people are playing it. It's one of the most well-received fanbase-wise ones. It's not just about review scores. This is the most difficult thing when it comes to fighting games. Reviewers rate things differently than the fighting community. And if you look at the review scores of Tekken 8, Tekken 8 was amazing when it came out, but then Season 2 changed the balance so much that it fucked over everyone and everyone hated it. I don't know if Tekken 8 is back at a playable state. I truly don't, and it's why I need to probably get into that, but you might need to look at all of these fighting games, even the ones that I'm seeing here, like Street Fighter 6. In the blink of an eye, they could make a new season, change something, and then suddenly everyone hates it. Fighting games evolve all the time, and it is something that makes it so complex. Just because it got a good review, and just because at the time it was in a really good state, doesn't mean anything. Point in case, Street Fighter 5 got pretty good reviews when it came out, if memory serves. Fanbase hated it, and it took them years, literal years, before they finally got to the point where 5 was worth playing. And then just when 5 was worth playing, they kind of had to abandon it, and they started Street Fighter 6. And thankfully, they'd learned a lot of lessons from what not to do with Street Fighter 5, that 6 has been amazing ever since Day 1, and I don't think it's going to have a problematic period where people hate it. So it is why it feels like this is the safest one to recommend, to hedge my bets, because again, it's current, it's modern, people are playing it, it's very popular, it's getting airtime at EVO, it's got a lot of people playing it, so there's a lot of videos out there teaching you how to play things. Watching other people play is definitely a good way to learn things. It's not just about playing and experimenting. Do look out YouTubers and see how they play it, and see if people have got up masterclasses and that. I wish I could do more of that, but this video's already gone on way longer than I expected it to, so I'm going to end it here and say it. Hopefully anything I've said has helped and has allowed you to at least start to get into this genre. It's an exceptionally good genre for a reason. I actually love Elden Ring because I love fighting games, because Elden Ring to me, it's the closest I can honestly say Elden Ring is an open world fighting game. As weird as that might sound, especially because Street Fighter 6 does actually have an open world fighting mode. The story mode, I don't really like it, I don't enjoy it, but it's good for a beginner, it's good for someone learning the ropes of this. But at the same time, if you get into this, if you get into fighters, and you've been worried about Souls-likes, try Elden Ring, seriously, because I truly do believe it's an open world fighter. So yeah, with that, I've been Sky Fellowship. Hopefully this video's been helpful. I truly do hope you have a great rest of your day, and until next time, bye!